You pick up your phone, not for anything specific, a reflex, the way you've done it 10,000 times before. You tap the app, the screen goes white. You wait. You tap again, nothing yet. You flip to something else, come back, and it's finally there, half loaded, keyboard not ready, the page still jumping as content pushes in from above. This is a phone that shoots 4K video, a phone that can translate a conversation in real time, a phone with more processing power than the computers that guided spacecraft to the moon. And you just waited 4 seconds for a messaging app to open. You've stopped noticing. That's the strange part. You've adjusted your behavior around it. The extra tap, the extra second, the small daily ritual of waiting, without ever asking why. The obvious explanation writes itself. Companies got big, got comfortable, they know you're not going anywhere, so they stopped optimizing. Why spend engineering hours on performance when the next phone model will carry the slack? Why care about load times when the user's already locked in? It makes sense, it feels true, it matches everything you can see from where you're standing. And honestly, it's not a bad theory. Except the phones did get faster, not slightly, dramatically. The chip in a current mid-range Android would have been flagship performance 3 years ago. Mobile processors have followed the same relentless curve as everything else in computing. The engineers didn't disappear either. The teams got larger. So if laziness and indifference aren't the answer, what is? To understand what's happening now, you have to understand what software used to cost. In the early days of mobile, every kilobyte was a negotiation. The first iPhone shipped with 128 megabytes of RAM. Developers wrote lean, constrained code because there was no alternative. Performance wasn't a goal, it was a precondition for the app working at all. Then the hardware scaled. Memory got generous, processors got fast, screens got sharper. And as the constraints lifted, the pressure to optimize lifted with them. Something else moved into the space. Not laziness, not indifference. A different set of priorities, ones that had very little to do with how fast the app felt in your hand. Start with how modern apps are actually built. Most development teams don't write separate apps for iPhone and Android. They write one codebase that runs on both, using cross-platform frameworks like React Native or Flutter. One team, one product, 2 platforms simultaneously. The trade-off is translation. Native apps speak the phone's language directly. Cross-platform apps speak a middle language that every platform can understand. The framework translates in real time, every tap, every scroll, every screen transition passing through an extra layer before it reaches the hardware. The team ships twice as fast, the phone works twice as hard. Now add the SDKs. An SDK is a pre-built package a developer drops into their app to add a feature without building it from scratch. Sounds efficient, and individually each is. The average top 100 app on the App Store ships with somewhere between 15 and 30 SDKs embedded inside it. One tracks crashes. One measures how long you look at each screen. One runs A/B tests on button colors. One manages push notifications. One serves ads. One attributes which ad brought you here in the first place. None of these are features you experience. All of them are running on your processor, on your battery, on your time, every session, every day, before the first screen you actually wanted has finished loading. Here is where most explanations stop making sense, because none of this was decided by someone who stopped caring. Every SDK was approved by a product manager solving a real problem. Every framework was chosen by an engineering team under deadline. Every cross-platform target was a business decision that cut costs and accelerated shipping. These were rational decisions, Good decisions, even. They just weren't made with your 4-second wait as the variable anyone was tracking. Now look at the weight. The average iOS app in 2013 was 23 megabytes. Today, the average is over 100 megabytes. Facebook's Android app crossed 500 megabytes. A single app, for text and photographs, heavier than most operating systems from 15 years ago. The phone got faster. The software got more ambitious, more abstracted, more instrumented, and heavier in ways that compound silently across every app on your home screen. Here is the actual answer. Performance was never the variable being optimized. Developer speed was. Cross-platform reach was. Data collection was. Your 4-second wait is the cost of those decisions, transferred from the company's engineering budget to your battery, your attention, and your time. Invisibly, by design, every single session. Every layer of abstraction ever written moved a cost. It moved it away from the engineers who would have had to write slower, harder, more optimized code, and onto the device in your pocket. This is not a technology problem. It is how scale works. Efficiency always has a price. The question is always who pays it and whether they know. That 4-second wait this morning wasn't a glitch. It was a receipt. Someone upstream made a decision that saved their team a sprint's worth of work. You paid for it in seconds, multiplied by every app, every session, every day, on a device you replaced 18 months ago because the old one felt slow. Next time an app makes you wait, you're not watching a mistake. You're reading a supply chain. If this changed how you see the phone in your hand, there's more where that came from. Causa Clara covers the hidden systems behind the things you use every day. Subscribe if you want to keep seeing what was always there. And if you recognize that wait, the one you stopped questioning, the comments are open.